Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of On the Town with Suz and Doug. And we are Suz and Doug doing our wave. Happy to be with you again and continuing our series of kind of entertainment, what we grew up watching on TV, movies, or whatever. Today, Suz, we're going to do something a little bit different, right? TV shows we grew up watching as kids, kid shows.
Absolutely. And we one that I always think of because I'm from southern New Jersey, right near Philadelphia, Cherry Hill, is Captain Noah.
Right. You told
Oh,
me about that a while ago, and I finally found some clips of that on YouTube.
yes, yes, that was, just from it's amazing. I remember sitting in the on the floor in the family room in Cherry Hill watching Captain Noah and going like this, clapping my hands. I was so happy. And he used to do a lot of art projects on there too. His wife, she was simply just called Mrs. Noah. Looked like a very nice
She
woman
didn't. She didn't have a
also.
ranking. She didn't have a rank in the
Uh,
Navy.
she was, it was amazing. She was just simply known as Mrs. Noah, and I think it was his real life wife on the show. And she used to do, I think, art projects. But he did have people that were guests that would come on the show that, and then I would want to go and do the art projects too. I remember doing what they did on TV and doing them also. So it was
I
a
don't
lot.
know if maybe people around the country can, put in the comments if they want. Every local city, I think, major city. I grew up in New York. You grew up in Philadelphia. Most of your childhood, right?
Yeah,
Had local shows like this where they had a local host
yeah.
in the afternoons for kids programming. We had a couple in New York. One was Captain Jack McCarthy. He was a like a boat
Okay.
captain too, and
Oh,
he'd come
wow.
in and ring the bell and
Yeah.
he went Ahoy mateys. That was his opening, Ahoy mateys. And he would have guests on, and they also in between they would run like cartoons or the Three Stooges,
Yeah.
in between. Those kind of like the host in between all those shows. And then we had another guy called Officer Joe Bolton. He was a
Okay.
policeman, not a real policeman, but and he would do
Oh,
the same thing. I think in between Superman and those kind of shows.
yeah.
So those are the two that I grew up watching in New York, and they were fun. And they were
It was
they
really,
were good. The people that did them, the two hosts,
yeah.
they were entertainers. They would be good. They would be talk to the kids. They wouldn't talk down to the kids. Did you find
No.
that with Captain Noah? He talked to you, right?
He talked to them, and it was interesting because I remember some of the things that he said, I can remember to this day.
Today, yeah,
And it wasn't like, there was nothing. It was just like he seemed like a really, like a fun, decent man. And his wife seemed very nice. And they just presented the show in a way where I think kids could be interested and engaged, and it was just children of all backgrounds, I think, would enjoy the show because you had cartoons, you had art, there was music,
right.
and then a lot of guests of all nationalities that would come on the show. So it was interesting for a lot of children, to see the guests, and it was engaging. I think that's and he always gave you things like stories. I think there was story time on the show too, and it was like he was talking to you, but he wasn't like, he didn't treat, he wasn't like silly. It was almost like he's a friend,
Right.
talking to you. So, and then I remember it was the same thing in the beginning. It was like the set. It was really cute. It was like a boat, like an ark.
Oh,
It was,
sure. Yeah.
and then they had like, like he's looking at the telescope and he's standing. It must have been like a two-story set, and then there was a slide. I remember, and that was really cute. And he was always on the top, the upper deck, and then he would slide down. It was
Always
like
slid down.
yeah, it was really cute. And he would go, hello. And sometimes Mrs. Noah would come down the slide too. And
Oh, okay.
kids would go, that was always fun. and then you knew when he got down from the slide, the show would begin, and it was really
Did
good.
they have
Yeah,
puppets too? Did he have puppets?
I think he had puppets. He had a walrus.
Horse.
And it's so cute. And the funniest thing, I think I'll be honest, puppets are okay.
I was
That was
never a big puppet fan. Very,
I
very rarely did I think a puppet show was good,
oh,
ever.
same thing with Mr. Rogers
Until the
with
Muppets. The Muppets were funny. No other puppets
yeah,
I thought were
yeah,
funny.
it was different like Sesame Street, with Kermit the Frog and
Yeah, they were
Ernie
good. They were good
and
puppets.
but this was like
Yeah,
somebody's hand in a sock and
yeah, yeah.
it was
Yeah, talk about Mr. Rogers, which was a national show.
I didn't like
I
the
like like the live part where he's talking to guests and talk to you and tell you inspirational.
yeah.
But when he went into the make believe land, it lost it for me back then. I didn't like King Friday and all the bad puppets.
Yeah, that was like, and that music was really bad.
Music was a
Like
little annoying. Yeah, they could have done without the make believe land of make believe. Yeah, yeah.
the song actually I could deal with too. He had this sweater on, and the
Yeah,
song,
that part was great. The first 20 minutes of it, but
yeah,
the last 5-10 minutes of Land of Make Believe with the little trolley, I could have done without that. But
I think that's when I used to go and try to get a cookie or something,
yeah,
and then my mom was on the phone, and I would try to get up on a chair in the kitchen, and because she always kept the cookies on the top shelf.
oh
In
sure.
the pantry in the closet, so she'd be on the phone, and and she would get angry. I always want, she always, yeah, she was kind of strict with cookies before dinner, and so it's always kind of funny.
Most of these shows came on what after 3:30 because the kids got home from school around 3:30, 4 o'clock. At least in New York, I'm guessing the same in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah. I think, and the weirdest thing now, Captain Noah was on in the morning.
Oh, was it?
That
You must have been real early then. Yeah.
that was an interesting. I think that was on like at 8:30.
Oh,
Those shows
okay.
came on so early. Yeah,
That's
for kids
unusual. They try to get
like
you to before you went to school, maybe. But then even
yeah,
that's
like
kind of
gosh, like
late for that.
Yeah, Captain Kangaroo. I know that one, but that came on like at seven.
That was in the morning. I remember watching that when I was homesick or something.
Yeah, that
I was sick a lot as a kid, and I remember watching him. That was a network show, but yeah, he was good. I liked him.
he was good, and that was on like really
CBS,
CBS. I loved Mr. Green
the
Jeans
green
and
jeans. I
Dan-
remember that dancing bear thing. I remember that was kind of cute. But he would interview people and have guests, and he would never talk down to the kids either. He would, it was
yeah,
like your grandfather talking to you, you know.
he seemed like a real. He's another guy. He seemed like I don't know who that actor was.
But
That
yeah, Bob Keeshan was his name. He was actually on the Howdy Doody show. He was the clown on that before he did Captain
oh
Kangaroo.
gosh,
And
he seemed
then
like
he got his own show. He did that Captain Kangaroo for like 30, 40 years. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
seemed like a really decent,
I guess he
you know,
was. Yeah. Yeah. Seemed
guy.
like
To do that. Yeah, that is so cool. So I didn't, and then I was trying to think, another man, my dad said who was on a kid show on the Tonight Show, Ed McMahon. My
did he
dad
do a local show in Philadelphia? Local
was,
kid show?
somehow my dad said he was from Philly. I don't know if
He
that's
worked in Philadelphia, like early TV, he said.
early
Yeah.
TV. Yeah,
He did a
he
lot
was
of shows. He did a kid show. Yeah.
He was with that laugh. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something with a kid. And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, I don't know exactly what. I know Philly always had." And then there was another man who would be like at 4 o'clock, 3:30. His
Right.
name was Wee Willie Weber,
All right. You told me about.
and he had like these. It was so funny. He just wore like a blazer and a tie, and I
He
don't
must have
know.
worn a funny hat, though. No, with a name like
Uh,
or a funny hat.
He had really short hair. I'm gonna have to
Short
look
hair.
him up. I want to look him up. It's just like Wee and then Willy and then Weber. I'm
Okay.
gonna have to look him up from Philly. And in the 1970s and 60s and 70s, he
Yeah.
would, and it was mostly like kids in the bleachers going like this, and they had balloons and stuff.
A lot of
Just
those kid shows would other shows would have audience of kids. Some of
Yeah,
them.
and I
And
wanted to go, and my mom said the traffic was you
yeah,
had
right.
to play. It was like in one of KYW or one of the stations where
Right,
you had to
KYW. Yeah. Right.
drive, and she didn't
Yeah.
want
New
to
York
drive.
had one like that. It was called Wonderama. You remember Wonderama? Did they have that where you grew up? That was
Was
a
it?
weekend show, and it was like 4 hours or 5 hours, and on the
Wow.
weekend at Channel 5, and they have a big audience of kids. It was like a long show. We didn't watch it much because we had to, went to church and all that, but I remember seeing a little bit of it. But it was a
Wow.
weekend show. But what was his name? Sonny Fox and then a guy named Bob McAllister did it.
Okay.
It was like a 5 hour show on the weekends, but the kids could go, be the audience. Yeah, people might
Oh,
remember that one. If anybody remembers that out there, let us know.
oh, Wonderama. I was, because I was wondering, yeah, now you so you couldn't now I guess that would be was that like if you wanted to go and be in the audience,
They would
you
at the end, like say, if you'd like to be part of our audience, write. You were given an address and you had to write for tickets or something.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, they'll at the beginning of every show or during the show, they do like the Wonderama thing, and the kids would all have to do this, and while the
Uh,
music went on them and the camera went around, so the kids
oh,
could have.
that's so cute. Yeah, I
Uh,
remember like for Wee Willie Weber, like the kids would all be going, "Yay!"
yeah, they put the camera on.
It was so cute. And yeah, it was very cute. And they'd get all excited. And he had balloons. And it was like hot
But
blink.
there were shows that had like educational parts too. They would tell you about something
Yeah.
historical or bring an animal on, and it wasn't all cartoons.
No, no. I think I'm gonna see if there's any clips from that show. I
Yeah, on
remember they
YouTube, I've seen some. They're available on YouTube. A few of them. Yeah.
a few of the yeah, because I think for Wee Willie Weber, I think he did the same thing. You would have like people with animals, maybe from the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Zoo.
There's always a local zoo. They'd bring them on.
Or artists or people
They
like
do,
that
yeah, like you said, they do how to make stuff. And
that make stuff
oh,
and
I know, got another one that was kind of a syndicated, but New York had its own Bozo the Clown. Did you have a Bozo the
oh
Clown where you grew up?
yeah, oh my gosh. You
Every
know,
city seemed to have its own Bozo though. Like it was a local guy that played Bozo. Did you have
those
that?
oh my god, I remember that. Oh my god, that is so
And that
funny.
had a lot of kids in the audience, and he had like the big, red
Yeah,
hair out here, and they
yeah.
ran cartoons in the middle of that. But yeah, Bozo the Clown, that was another one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember it was so I know that they did that in
It was a
Philly.
franchise. The guy that started it, he
Yeah.
franchised that out to different cities, and you'd
Okay.
be your own local. Chicago had their own Bozo, other cities. I didn't know Philadelphia had its own Bozo though, but
Oh
New
my
York.
god. I'm guessing we probably did. The two I really remember, Captain Noah and Wee Willie
Willie
Weber.
Weber, yeah.
And I remember on Wee Willie Weber, they used to have Spider-Man. That's
Oh, right,
one,
yeah, they'd run
like,
different cartoons on all of them, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the cartoon
It was a
Spider-Man.
way to tie together maybe 2 hours in the afternoon. That host would fill in the middle with a
With
segment, and they'd run a cartoon, and yeah.
and yeah, because I remember it was Spider-Man, Speed Racer,
Racer, yeah.
and it was like
The worst animation ever, Speed Racer.
it
I
was
liked
bad.
the cartoon, but it was the worst animation ever.
It was so bad.
It's
Yeah,
like it was like
I
still photographs almost. You didn't see any motion at all.
oh my gosh, and you remember Pops and
Yeah,
Trixie,
and the
that little
monkey. Yeah.
monkey, and it was terrible. Was it all from Japan? Yeah, I guess that one
It was
was
that Japanese animation that kind of a bunch of cartoons came in at that time, and then it was not great animation, but the stories were good. I remember those
the
good
stories
stories.
were. Hey, another one that was bad, Ultraman. Ult-
Ultraman was one. Kimba the White Lion. I remember that one. Gigantor.
uh,
Anybody know those out there? Let us know.
yeah, that was the Ultraman thing was
Ultraman
really
was terrible. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. No.
that was the other one. I think Captain Noah used to have that one Gumby
Oh,
with
Gumby. Yeah, that was another one. I watched a few of those. I said, this stinks. And I was like maybe 5 at the time, 6.
yeah,
It
it
was
was
terrible.
like I don't really understand. It was like the little
Yeah,
clay
it was like stop motion claymation, but it didn't make any sense.
Gumby and then uh Pokey. He had the
Pokey was the horse.
and they would
Gumby was
walk
like the
through
green.
the wall.
Eddie Murphy did it later as a, remember on Saturday Night Live, he did
That
Gumby.
and either he was like angry Gumby or something.
Yeah, yeah. He was like a Jewish guy playing Gumby. That was
Gumby, because it was like I want a pastrami on rye and all this, and where's my, and I was like, what the heck is
but it
this?
didn't make the show didn't make any sense. There was there was like a cartoon stop action, but the stories were terrible. But
Yeah, it was, it was like maybe the first one, but then, and I
it was
remember,
early on. Yeah, it was kind of like who's the guy in Saturday, the little character in Saturday Night Live that they kept when Oh
oh,
No and they smashed him. It was that to
oh,
people that
like Mr. Bell.
Mr. Bill. It was the
Did
Mr.
they?
Bill format, but
I'm
before.
wondering, did they start that on Saturday Night Live, the
Well,
Mr.
that was
Bell?
kind of, I think, a throwback to the Gumby thing. That was the
Because
stop motion
I
claymation.
used to do an imitation. It was so
Yeah.
like it would be
Well,
like,
let's let everybody hear it.
"Oh, they're going down the
There you
drain,"
go.
and it was like, yeah,
And it was
and
the same joke
yeah,
every time. The little Mr. Bill would be getting
yeah.
stepped on or
It was
up
terrible.
a
Oh,
building, and yeah.
yeah,
But that was
and
a tribute, I think, to the Gumby show.
it was, and actually, you know what? I kind of liked Mr. Bell better. It
That
was
was
bad,
funny. That was
but
one of the few things that was funny on Saturday Night Live. I'll give him that.
the Gumby, I don't know. It was just weird. And then the other characters, I can't even remember. I just remember
Yeah,
Gumby,
Poke the horse, and then there was a couple others, but I don't forget who they were. Yeah.
and it was. I wonder if that was Japanese too. I don't know
I don't
what.
think so. I think that was U.S. Yeah, I think so.
It was like early '60s.
Yeah, we saw them, later on, but I think they were around before. They weren't new when we saw them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
And how about this would be a little before both of our time, but they did reruns later on. The Soupy Sales. Did you ever see the
oh
Soupy Sales
yeah,
show?
Soupy Sales. I remember that guy. Yeah,
Yeah, he would be on a lot. He had his own show like in the '60s in New York, but I didn't see that one. But he would be on like game shows and stuff. He was a big guy in
yeah,
local kids
he
TV.
was.
He was good.
Yeah, Soupy
Yeah.
Sales. I remember, and he would make you like smile. You would
He
be
was
like,
funny. Yeah, you can see some of the old shows.
yeah,
He'd have puppets, but the puppets were funny. They would tell jokes. It was really
yeah.
more for adults, that show.
It
It
was cute.
was
Yeah,
funny.
Soupy Sales, and
Then he always
like,
got hit with a pie, and
he was really, oh, he was cute. I liked, yeah, Soupy Sales. I liked him. He was, and then another character. Now he's an English comedian, Mr. Bell, but no, not Mr. Bell,
What are
Mr.
you thinking
Bean.
of Benny Hill?
Yeah,
Benny Hill?
uh, Mr. Bean.
Oh,
Mr.
Mr.
Bean.
Bean. I never saw
Yeah,
that show. Yeah,
it it was kind of like,
I know who you mean, but I've never seen it. Yeah,
yeah, I only saw him maybe 3 or 4 times,
yeah.
and I know kids can watch him. He might have been more for adults, but he always had like a little teddy bear.
Oh, did
Yeah,
he? Yeah,
little,
that one I never saw.
and it was so weird. And the other weird thing, they said he was actually an Oxford or Cambridge graduate.
Oh, I'm sure he went to like the Royal Academy of Dramatic
Yeah,
Arts and all that. I'm
yeah,
sure he did.
teachers. Ended up being this comedian. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so strange. Yeah, and it was like it was okay, but it was kind of like. But I know in England they love him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Miss.
I've seen the name, but yeah, I've never seen that show.
I'd have to, yeah, I'd have to. I know on YouTube there's some videos
Yeah.
of, uh, but I liked Soupy Sales.
It's kind of sad too. I mean, local TV, local station TV, and is gone. There's nothing like that anymore. That ended. I don't know when the kid shows ended. Maybe the late '70s, early '80s.
It's really
You
sad. And
know,
here in Sarasota,
not there anymore.
I
Yeah.
don't think they have any. I grew up. We had children's shows.
Every station would have like a local guy do something. You
Yeah,
know.
and it was really, and for playing outside and having
Yeah.
adventures, it was fun. It's great memories,
Well,
and
I mean, I know they sold ads and made money on it. It's fine, but they were good. They were, kids would be treated like intelligent people.
yeah, yeah, it was really good. And I love the arts and crafts and things that they
Yeah,
used.
they were good.
It was really fun. It
It's,
was real
station owners were smart. They'd bring this stuff back, but I won't hold
ab-
my breath.
absolutely. I'm with you. It would be, yeah, I mean, just to bring that back and just,
Yeah, Sesame Street came in what, like early, was it early 70s?
I think early 70s.
So that was
There were,
like one of the first, well, that was first on PBS. So
yeah, the national. Yeah, and,
yeah. Okay, so
that
Sesame Street and Captain Kangaroo were like the morning TV for most kids
for most
for a
kids. And
while, and then till the 80s, and then I don't know what they watch now. They don't watch TV anyway. They watch their phones. Little kids probably. Who
they're
knows what they're
home.
watching? Oh, there's some weird kids shows on YouTube. I'll tell you that. I don't know if
Uh,
you should be watching those. That's another show.
it's sad because they don't really, they're almost really not like kids shows,
No.
and it's sad because these were like,
Be careful out there if you show your kids some of these kids shows, some of the content. We'll just say that. That's
yeah,
another show, but there's some
it's
bad
really
stuff
sad.
there.
Yeah, because it should be geared for children, and it should be, it should be
Yeah, I mean,
educational.
you're a teacher. You've worked with little kids. I mean, it's important. You got to give them some
You do,
positive stuff to watch.
you really do, and
Learn.
and
Yeah.
it's best to do it when they're young, when a child is young, and to
Right.
give exposure to these. It's sad, so they get like an appreciation for these things.
Yeah.
As they stories, stories, and see all these things expand the mind and
Yeah.
creativity and
Let kids use their imagination. I'm not sure kids are learning that as well as they should be now to use the imagination. Right. Everything's right there for them on the phone or the tablet. They don't have to think as much. That's not good.
and you know what? The way it's just my opinion. I mean, strictly, this is just my opinion, but I think, the World Wide Web, the computer has opened up so many things, so many
Yeah.
ideas for so many people. But I think opening a book, for children and for people, because it's learning, looking at a
Right.
book, reading a book, looking at pictures, talking about it.
Yeah, it
It's like,
shouldn't be just the computer. Nothing wrong with it if you get good
uh,
content. There's a lot of great things about it. But yeah, there's a lot of garbage. So reading a book, kids should
yeah,
still be reading books or having them read to them until they can read their own. You're right.
exactly. And
Your mom or your dad probably read to you when you were little, right? My father and mother did that when, before we could read. I don't know if parents do that anymore. They should.
yeah, I remember
Read to your
like,
kids out there.
yeah, yeah, because I remember sitting right next to my dad. Actually, I remember always sitting on the right-hand side
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my dad, and like every night I think
yeah.
we
No,
went
it's
through
more
the
than
way
just the reading. It's, connect time with your father or mother and, you
and mine
know,
too.
and it's
Yeah,
kids open, their imagination, hearing the story. You in your mind you make it about, but if it's on screen, it's already done for you.
absolutely.
The
And
picture. So,
it's sad, yeah, because you have to, you with children, and it starts young, it starts early,
right?
appreciation, and I mean, you can love books, even adults who had never learned to read, and then all of a sudden someone helps them, and they're older adults learning to read. You
Yeah,
can always,
anybody can learn. I
yeah,
mean,
you
unfortunately, if you don't learn as a kid, you still can learn.
you still,
Your mind is,
yeah,
unless you have total mental, no ability. But I mean, everybody can learn to read at some level.
absolutely. And so I should have said it this way. You can always get that appreciation,
Yeah,
but it's nice to start, as a child, I
yeah.
think, if you can, if it's possible, for a child to do that, because it just opens up.
Well, look at you and I are just talking now. We won't say our ages, but it's a long time ago. We still remember these vividly, right?
Yeah, exactly. I do. Yeah, I love
How
story.
important is that, right? I mean, we remember things from when we're, 4 or 5, still
Absolutely.
from those shows. They were
From
good. Yeah,
those. Yeah, and they were so good, because they were so like a part of your life. And
yeah.
Captain Noah,
It was
yeah,
quality. Yeah.
it was so cute. Like they would even make tissue paper flowers.
All
On,
right, sure.
and I remember getting Kleenex around the house, and then I didn't have pipe cleaners, so I used drinking straws. I
All
was
right.
My mom, what's going on? All my Kleenex is gone. What's going on? And I don't. This is so annoying. But I loved doing the projects that he was doing. So
Yeah, I mean, it helps you learn how to build stuff. Sure, that's good. Yeah.
absolutely, and it was fun. And they just had new ways for coloring, and I guess he had different artists on there too, and it was
Right.
real fun. Art teachers, different people on there. So, and I think his wife was pretty creative too. So she would,
Mrs.
I
Noah. Yeah.
yeah, she was. I remember she was a blonde lady and
Yeah.
a nice lady. Yeah, his wife on there. So it was fun. It was really. I used to love that show every day. But it was cute with the slide in the beginning,
I
and I
saw
was.
you told me about it. I saw a clip on YouTube. So yeah, it looked like a fun show.
It
Yeah.
was really cute with the little. I think.
That'll wrap it up. I guess we're just about out of our normal time, so
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that for this one. And anybody out there see any other kid shows you want to let us know about? Put it in the comments. But that's kind of our memories of kids. So we got to give thumbs up in our lives to kids TV back in the late '60s and '70s.
70s. Absolutely.
Well, that'll do it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again next time.